Hello and welcome to yet another edition of Time Pass with the New Indian Express. I have with me Monisha Jaising, one of the legendary designers in India. She's been around longer than we've had liberalization. That tells you how long she's been in the industry. She's seen it through, the days that it used to be a garage industry to the industry really that it's become now. But a lot of changes have possibly happened since COVID. Let's ask her about that. With me, there's Edison Thomas. He's the editor at Indulge, and he's going to be my partner in crime today. Hi, Edison. Hi, Monisha. Thank you so much for being with us. And really, let's start off with talking about how the industry has changed or ought to change during this time and post-COVID.
Well, basically, the pandemic has had, great effects on all sectors of the economy worldwide. But the sectors that are extremely hard hit are the ones that come in the category of non-essential spending. And fashion, of course, is one of them. And you can see that, everywhere around you. Even you, when was the last time you shopped? As compared to when the pandemic was not there.
Right.
So, that's just the way now, fashion has to cope with this new change. And one thing good about it is that, people have stopped overproduction because, production in the world and the environment because of that was, very abused because, people were like in this huge rat race to, get all the collections on time and to sell a certain amount of turnover every season. And, it was a huge rat race, run by countries all over. Basically all the producing countries and all the trading countries. And this led to overproduction and, of course, the environment being abused as well. Now, you won't see that happen. Now it will be production as per demand, not just overproducing for certain turnovers or, getting certain numbers in. It's going to be more real, actually.
Right. Monisha, in a way, it's taking us back to pre-liberalization, perhaps, and it's also taking us back to a very Indian way of living. This was the way of, frugal living, sustainable clothes, recycling clothes. That's how we grew up in a way, didn't we? Our saris weren't always just saris. They would become, washcloths, then they would become smaller washcloths and even smaller washcloths. So we're used to, or they were just handed down from generation to generation. So in a way, India, if you look at it, our textile and our fashion industry could be perhaps best place to make this adversity an opportunity. Do you think we can do that? And if so, how?
Well, it's not going to go back there. It's not going to regress so much because, because the youth won't get it.
Right.
And, but what's going to happen is that, the pattern of buying is going to change. And you won't just buy for the sake of buying. You'll buy if there's an occasion or if you need it for something. And, you'll obviously think, whether you can use it for a long time or whether it's something that's, functional and comfortable. So, all of that will come. It won't go back to what you just said. It won't go back to that because fashion is an escape.
Yeah.
It's an escape zone. Okay. So, fashion in India is actually, quite nascent as compared to the Western countries. And India has a huge population with a huge number of youth that is, aspirational and, loves to buy things, loves fashion, loves the whole, loves the whole experience, that lifestyle experience. And so that won't go. Obviously now it's curbed because of the economic strains and of course, the other strains of, of the disease, that's still around. But what's going to happen is that the shopper is going to be now more smart and is going to definitely want value for money, is going to look at longevity of the product they're going to buy. And there's not going to be any careless buying and impromptu buying it's going to be kind of reduced. It's going to be like thought of before you actually, you know, swipe your card.
So what happens to fast fashion? The whole idea of the H&Ms and the whole idea of Zara's, it's all about 3 months and then on to the new collection, 3 months and on to the new collection. And that's how young people in India, to a large part in the metros, have also they've grown accustomed to that. How does that change?
See, high street stores like H&M and Zara will always survive, I feel. I think it's because, they'll just have to, replan their whole production and not overproduce, because they were the ones that were really overproducing.
Absolutely.
And so they'll continue with the churn out of new collections every 3 months, because fashion is something that you get bored of it in some time. And it's actually something new that comes into your life, because you can't always change your home. You can't keep changing the walls, the paint on your walls. You can't change your furniture. But yes, you can wake up in the morning, look into the wardrobe and say, yes, I want to, look romantic one day and wear florals. Or tomorrow I want to look, grungy and wear my, faded denim ripped jeans. So that can happen, and that can give you a sense of new every single day. When you wear a color every day, you feel a sense of new. So that is possible. So fashion is something, as I said, it's an escape world. It gives you something new. It gives you a promise daily, which nothing else can give you, because your workplace is still constant. The road to your workplace is still constant. So fashion is a bit of a vacation, but you can enjoy every day.
But also now work becoming increasingly work from home. Even after the pandemic, we do see that a lot of work from home will become permanent.
Yes.
How does that change things?
Well, yeah, work from home, of course. Work from home, it changes a bit, because in the sense that, obviously, you're going to focus more on the top part if you're going to do Zoom meetings like you and me are doing. You don't even know what I'm wearing below. I could be wearing a pair of pajamas. I could be wearing a pair of pajamas.
Yeah.
How do you know? Actually, right now I'm sitting with my legs folded. So, but you don't know. Like in front of you is this Monisha Jaising who's sitting there with her striped shirt, but you don't know what I have on inside.
Exactly.
Below. So it's that top of that part of dressing, which is the upper torso, which is going to be very important.
Yeah,
it's
that's
going to be color. Yeah, it's going to be color, because what you're wearing now, which is that bright color in checks. It's looking very attractive to me. Again, I don't know what you're wearing below, but what you have on the top of is very attractive.
Exactly.
So it's got to do with that.
Right.
But at the same time, people are out there also.
Yeah.
If you look at the roads, it really isn't about Zoom meetings anymore as it was 2 months ago, I would say yes. But now people are out. They're fed up. People are going out for walks. People are actually, meeting people in small gatherings. Weddings are happening, maybe small, intimate, but they are happening.
Right.
So, so I think, yes, of course, Zoom meeting dressing, which concentrates on the upper body.
Yeah.
And
more leisure wear, is that going to be a big thing?
Leisure wear, athleisure, whatever you call it, has been very big for a long time.
Right.
And it's been picked up by everybody. It's it's been worn by Hollywood stars, Bollywood stars, your airport looks, your Zoom meeting looks. So all these looks, and what's nice about athleisure and is that there's a sense of luxury in it.
Yeah.
Yet it's comfortable and it's functional. So that's what athleisure is all about.
Which is a lot like your work, Monisha. Your resort wear is really all about celebrating both the non-formal aspect of our lives, and yet giving it a gloss of luxury that makes it feel really chic.
Yes.
That's something that you've been doing long before athleisure was invented. The term athleisure was invented. So talk a little about this whole, how your own design philosophy has evolved.
my design philosophy has been pretty much the same for the past 30 years because we believe in sticking to a certain brand identity. And we've always looked at Western, cuts and Western shapes, but we've given it an Indian twist by, adding, by, making them in Indian fabrics or using Indian embellishments or motifs or Indian techniques of printing. So, I could be making a very, very red carpet gown that anybody can wear for an event, maybe at the Met Gala or Cannes, but I would use, the luxurious silk from India. I would use, embroidery from India.
Right.
And so it's basically global fashion. It's fashion that it's fashion that appeals to to everyone from every part of the world, but at the same time it has India in its
Right.
India is the core because there's something about India in every garment that I make.
Right. And during the pandemic, has it become more so, or has there been any change?
During the pandemic, the only change we've done is that we're trying very hard to make garments that are affordable,
Right.
because everyone's been hit economically.
Right.
So we're making garments that are affordable, and we're also looking at safety during this time. So, we're making garments more functional. We're using fabrics that are more breathable, and something that doesn't need to go to the dry cleaner. You can wash at home.
Right.
And so wash and care is being looked at because, obviously with the pandemic still there until the vaccination, we don't know when, but it's going to be a long time. And the first thing you want to do when you get home is to wash what you want.
Exactly.
And if it's got dry clean only, I don't think you want to buy it now. You'll say, I'll save it for later.
Right.
You want something, when you check the wash and care instructions, it says tumble dry, 60 degrees, dry. So we're looking at that. So we're making sure that the fabric can be washed at home, that it doesn't lose its color or its richness when you tumble dry it in the machine. Unlike a lot of designer garments that have earlier on been carrying specialist dry clean only.
Right.
We're also looking at the collection being more affordable, so that people that have been hit by actually everyone then looks at it and says, yeah, it's worthwhile buying. And comfort, of course. So we're looking at a lot of athleisure and functionality. Each and every garment has pockets in it, or hidden pockets, or
Thank
hidden
God
pockets,
for that.
so that you can keep your sanitizer, your pocket size 250 ml sanitizer, and your mask,
And your phone.
and your phone. Yes, of course, and your phone. But the mask and pocket and the sanitizer, too, which are accessories now as important as the phone is.
Right.
And,
You want to step in a bit, and then
I want to. Monisha, I'm very curious to know. India as a country, we've had so many fashion weeks, and with this pandemic, it's all going to be affected. Is that going to change the way we move forward in fashion?
Well, fashion weeks all over the world. I think all the fashion capitals, London, Milan, Paris, New York, have all announced that they're going to go ahead with the fashion weeks, and they are. But it's all going to be in the digital space. London was the first to announce this. About a month ago, the cases in London were getting better, so then they decided to do a combination between digital and actual shows, physical shows. But then again, I think the cases have risen, so the government has now said that not more than 6 in a gathering. So the fashion shows are now cancelled, and it's all back to 100% virtual digital shows. And in India also, FGCI is planning a similar thing. It was meant to be in August, but I think it's taking them a longer time to plan, so they moved it to November. And so fashion weeks for some time are going to be virtual and digital. But yes, they will happen because it's a very important platform for us designers to show our collections. We can show our collections by doing a virtual show ourselves in our workspaces, like how we do shoots. But it's different when you're a part of a mega trade fashion week.
Right.
Yeah. Monisha, you worked a lot with the artisanals and going back to the weavers and working very closely with helping them. And do you see the pandemic having affected these efforts of yours and other designers?
Yeah, obviously, because what it is that, first of all, a lot of our talented workers, were coming from their hometowns and villages. Most of them have gone back, and basically a lot of the embroidery karigars come from areas like Agra, UP, and North India. A lot of them come from villages in North India, and most of them have gone back because I think they're so scared that they want to be with their families.
Right.
We do have a workforce here in Bombay, and but it's only 50% of the capacity that I was. I actually want everyone to come back, and we want to start full on again. But I think that it's going to take them time to leave their homes and come back because they're still fearing what's going to happen, when they come here, if they get sick. So we're just waiting for this, for the bad period to subside, and then I'm sure everything will be back together again. Right now we have limited production because we have 50% capacity in our factories, purely because of the reasons I told you.
Okay.
And also, of course, because we don't want to overproduce.
Right.
And so it's both together.
Okay.
So the capacity of the factory is working at 50% as compared to pre-pandemic. And I mean, I'm sure as things improve and as people get confident and start moving more out and getting more aggressive in their buying, everything will be back to normal. But I really don't want it to be the abnormal, which was just before the pandemic, where there was so much overproduction in the world that it was just crazy.
Monisha, I just wanted to ask you, what was it like to see this kind of migration that happened? Some of your weavers, perhaps some of your karigars may have been among them, to see them going back home because they felt abandoned or they felt helpless. And do you feel that it wasn't just a question of equity, it was also a question of dignity, that's one word we heard again and again from the migrant laborers, that, our dignity has been hurt. We feel abandoned by the state, by our institutions. How do you respond to that? Did you see that happening in front of you?
Well, what I faced was like most of the workers that I had that were migratory wanted to leave not for any other reason, only because they wanted to be close to their families.
Right.
And I have been actually telling them to come back for a very long time.
Right.
And some of them have come back, so we've started work at 50% of the capacity, as I said. But some of them still fear as to what's going to happen. So, as I said, it'll take time.
I wonder,
a lot of them actually have found employment in their state.
That's what
they feel that it's better for them to work there because they're close to their families.
Right.
So I mean, obviously, the salaries are better in a city like Mumbai, but they are weighing their they're weighing what they want in their life, and a lot of them have opted to actually stay there, even though they're getting better wages in Mumbai. Out of choice.
So interesting.
They have decided to stay there because they're looking at quality of life.
Right.
Because this is actually created a huge scare, and they're like, we want to lead our life now the way we want to, and we want to be close to our families. So a lot of them like, I mean, I just spoke to some of them last week and said, please come back. And I'm, I mean, I'm offering you so much more and this and that. And they were like, no, it's not that, Didi, because they all call me Didi. It's not that, Didi, like, you were great and you were lovely and everything. It's not that. It's just that we want to work here in this city, in our city, so that we're close to our families.
Right.
So I can't change that,
Yeah.
And so how does that
work?
sorry,
Or are they doing the same work, Monisha? Or are they doing
same work?
work.
But they've been employed locally by local traders,
right.
by local, like, maybe local designers, local, I mean, in their own state, like, where, okay, some of them, may, like, travel like an hour or so into a city if they're living in the interiors, but they don't want to come to, come here. I'm seeing a lot of that happen. With my, with my cardigans, the one that do Zari and Zardozi.
Right.
Not so much with the tailoring community that does the stitching, because, stitching is done a lot on machines.
Right.
And, we have a lot of, labor here in Mumbai, that's skilled enough to use the machine. But, the Ari embroidery and the Zardozi embroidery, which is so typical of India, which is hand embroidery, those are the karigars I'm talking about. The hand weavers or the hand karigars. They're the ones who prefer being in their own state, because there's enough work everywhere and they're getting work in their own state.
Fascinating. Edison, you were saying something.
Yeah. While, I think that's a good thing that, the community, has work in their own state. But is there some way that, we should be able to maybe adapt to probably still use their skill sets? Is there a new normal that is evolving?
Yes. So, that's what I'm doing. A couple of them have started their own little businesses, small businesses in their hometowns. And
fantastic.
I'm giving them, and I've started giving them job work.
Right.
Oh, that's great.
And, we have great, courier companies that deliver within a day. And I've started that. So while my own capacity of in the factory is only 50%, the production we are increasing by giving job work to our ex-workers who have now migrated to their villages and have started their own businesses.
So that's really quite wonderful, the way things are changing even as we speak. Do you see a lot of crafts that were perhaps on the verge of dying out, which could be resuscitated using this model?
Yes, of course. Of course. I think if we support the karigar and tell him, and tell him that we'll give him a certain amount of business every year, I think he'd be very comfortable to start his own small little factory, like a cottage industry, wherever he is. And, it'll be very good for him, because he'll be in his hometown and he'll actually be, freelancing for you and for so many other people.
Right.
And then he will grow.
Yeah. Monisha, I wanted to talk a little about standardization as well, because I think that's one of the banes of Indian fashion. And as we grow more and more online, I think we need to have more standardization in place. So are we now at a position where our standardization systems are, equipped to deal with the kind of online demand that is possibly only going to rise now?
Well, standardization doesn't happen so much in Indian handicrafts because it's handmade. We're not making a McDonald's burger here.
Yeah, of course.
And so basically, because it's handmade and it's going to be, there's going to be some discrepancy in each and every, in that space. But according to me, that only adds to the beauty of the garment.
Right.
It makes it more one of a kind.
Right.
And basically, standardization in an Indian handicraft product is tough, and I don't think we should really pay attention to achieve that, because I think that that little bit of difference only adds to the beauty of the product. Whereas if you're going to make ready-to-wear products that are just going to come out of the machine, yes, India needs to focus on getting the standardization right.
But we still don't have that in place, do we? And do you see young people moving more towards buying online rather than actual physical store shopping?
I think everyone is buying online. The young, the old, and even the grandmoms are now buying online.
Yeah, even me.
Because, yeah, but well, you're young, so you come in that. But I see online buying across all generations, and I see this is the way. This is going to be the way ahead. I mean, brands will opt for maybe a couple of flagship stores in some of the big cities, just for the experience of the brand, just so that you can go there, touch, feel, and understand the brand philosophy. But a lot of the buying is going to be happening online. I mean, ever since we've opened our store post the pandemic on July 20th, we've had people walk in, yes, with masks and, with all the safety measures. They've come just to feel and touch and to feel the brand.
Right.
And then they've told us, listen, we love it. We love the new collection. Can we go home and buy it online?
Right. But the brides will still want you around, won't they, Monisha? A lot of the brides and the families would want special attention.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes, they would. But, we're doing a lot of video meetings and virtual meetings. So, I mean, the first couple of meetings, the first meeting obviously will be face to face.
Yeah.
But then on, even the brides and the family are preferring to be home and, and doing Zoom meetings or video meetings and, closing the deal like that.
How is bridal fashion going to change? Is it still going to be so ostentatious or less so?
Well, a lot of the weddings have been postponed, and but a lot of the weddings are still happening, and small intimate gatherings. So then, obviously, not the big fat Indian wedding, and the bride is again looking at comfort and functional, and she's looking at just that at that one garment because it's only that one function.
Exactly.
So I mean, it's a new kind of wedding happening there.
Right. I wonder how it will be. It won't be the same kind of wedding that we've had so far. It will be fewer people, maybe fewer functions, and just
intimate gatherings, fewer people. Yeah.
So, the way I see weddings, in the recent past that I've seen, they're more of a visual experience. Everybody's out there for that picture, that one picture that they need to get, and things like that. So does that change things for a designer? I mean, is that more effort to get that whole look?
Yeah, I'll tell you. We have. There was a wedding we designed for now recently, which was a small time wedding. I mean, a small gathering. Sorry, not small time. I mean, it was a small gathering, very intimate gathering. What I saw is that a lot of the attendees at that wedding wanted to make a statement, just because just because they've not been out for so long. So that just purely because of that.
Right.
Like normally in your day-to-day life, you're like, oh, I've got so many invites. I'm so fed up. I don't want to get my hair done. I just want to wear my jeans and something and go and attend the wedding and finish. Now it's the complete opposite. My God, I've been sitting in those dirty track pants for months and I'm called for this wedding. I'm going to go all out.
Right.
So we had a lot of attendees come for this one particular wedding and said, listen, there are only 12 people at the wedding, but we've not been out for the longest of time. So we want to look our very best.
Right.
So a lot of them want to go back looking their very best because they've just been sitting in their lounge clothes.
So, and was it a particular look or was it just, was it Indian? Was it Western?
No, it was like a fusion and, but they just wanted to look their best and they wanted to go all out. I mean, the pandemic wasn't stopping them from, they wanted to be bolder.
Dressing up, yeah.
Yeah. It's only because, it's that comeback,
Do you think the luxury industry as a whole globally will take a hit?
Well, it has taken the hit.
The handbags, the cars, I mean...
It has taken the hit.
How much
Of
of that
course it
can
has.
you buy anymore?
No, of course, it has taken a hit. I mean, I've heard that Chanel has stopped production of their handbags.
Right.
So, of course, it's taken a hit because I mean, all the production places have, have suffered, and a lot of the accessories were coming from China,
Yes.
and so there's everyone's taken a hit. Luxury, high street, everyone's taken a hit at some level.
Is there a point where Indian luxury textiles can make use of this
Make use of this?
adversity and sort of increase their demand globally? Is this a moment where Indian textiles, Indian luxury fashion can make more of a mark globally? Maybe the price may be a little higher, but the kind of quality that the world will get will be so different.
No, I don't think so.
No?
I think that people are not really looking at spending a lot. And I feel that like when they get, I mean, they will look at buying essentials or for an event. So if, of course, they need to go to an Indian event that requires them to wear an Indian textile, yes, they'll go for that. But if they want to, if they if they have to attend like anything else, which I mean, it's going to be like the need of the hour.
Right.
So it's not going to be just buying for the sake of collecting Indian textiles, or for the sake of collecting Hermes bags, or for the sake of collecting shoes. It's going to be buying for a purpose. So I don't think any luxury item, whether it's Indian textiles or handbags, are going to go really boom at this time.
Let me look at that same question a little differently. Let's say with all these global brands being hit and being affected with the pandemic, is this the time for the smaller artisan, the local artisan, to kind of step up and maybe with the help of designers, maybe with the help of retailers, can they kind of make inroads into such markets?
Yes, of course they can. Globally, all designers, come to India for embroidery, and I think there's going to be even more people looking at India now, and because I feel that India is going to get a lot of work that China used to, because China, of course, was the biggest production economy in the world, but I feel now India is going to get a lot of that. A lot of people are going to be more comfortable to produce out of India than they are going to be from China. And hand embroidery only happens in our country. So whether it's Gucci, Armani, or anyone, whoever makes their couture garments always comes to India. And this is going to increase even more. And so I think India is going to be the new big production economy where everyone is going to prosper, especially the artisans. Especially the artisans and the skilled people, and especially the people from from all our states, that are so talented in all the skills that they do.
Do we need any reforms in that area? Are we equipped? Can people get access to them? Do we need any changes that need to be made?
Yeah, they will be. I mean, I think small-term loans should be given to them, because if India is going to be looked as the next big production economy, I think we should look at lifting up the Karigar and making him into a small-time entrepreneur. And if he becomes a small-time entrepreneur, I think even we as designers will benefit, because things will be more streamlined, and we'll get deliveries on time, and we'll be able to plan our productions better. So it works, it just works for everybody in the trade.
Right.
And so I think if small-term loans are actually given to them to set up these small businesses, it would be a huge help.
What about the textiles, the weaving of the textiles?
Yeah, the same thing. Small-time weavers should be also given that support. So that, see, basically, the minute they know it's their own business, then the chalta hai attitude kind of goes off, you know. And maybe then the standardization may also be better, because otherwise what happens, you know, you asked me earlier, why is you know, standardization such a huge problem? Because in India we have a chalta hai attitude. They think that, okay, they have so many hours of work, they have to be on the machine, do the work, and it's chalta hai. But I think once they start having their own businesses, then they'll probably get better the quality.
Yeah, once the world starts rejecting one garment because, you know, it doesn't fit the size, then they'll realize what it's like for the designer. Actually, it's pretty depressing. How have you seen the Indian woman change, Monisha, in what she chooses to wear, how she chooses to wear it, and the statement that she wants to make with the clothes that she wears?
Um, Sorry, how does the Indian woman?
How have you seen the Indian woman evolve? You know, over the years, the last 30 years, you've seen her quite closely in the way she's chosen her garments, in the way she's chosen how to dress at home, at work, at leisure. How has it all been put together, and how do you see her change?
Well, I see the Indian woman has now become a global woman, and I don't think it's about being from India or being from a particular state in India. You know, if you just walk out there, you know, into your high street or just go anywhere, you'll see the youth walking around. I mean, you know, they're so trendy. You know, they may be shopping on fashion streets on the road, but they're getting it right. Okay, yeah. The reason they're getting it right, even the styling right.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, just look around. You know, you don't have to be from an affluential family that travels.
Yeah.
Even a girl who's never been outside the country and you know comes from a humble home, and she's shopping on fashion street, but she just gets it right. You know, she gets the right pair of sunglasses on. They could be for 100 rupees. Who cares?
Yeah.
You know, if she gets the right pair of jeans on, they could be for 200 rupees. Who cares? But that's what's happening in India. The youth is very aspirational. They are very aware of what's happening globally. Thanks to the internet, the world has become a small place. And, you know, they're watching everybody, you know, Hollywood stars, Bollywood stars, fashion worldwide. And the youth are getting it. And it really doesn't matter from which part of society you are.
Right. What about the boys? Are the
Sometimes you see people from affluent families, they still haven't got it. But I mean, I go on the road and I see someone shopping on fashion street, and she could be from a very small home, but she's got it.
Do you sometimes stop them and ask, hey, how did you put this thing together?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. And she's like, you know what? I mean, I've never ever left the country, whatever, but I just felt this looked good. And I've just been training myself on the internet.
That's so lovely.
You see a lot of that happening in our country with the youth. And that's why I feel India is going to be huge on fashion. Not only are we going to churn the maximum number of fashion designers, we're going to be the production capital of the world.
Right.
No more China. No more China.
Yeah. What about the boys? Have they been left behind in the fashion race, or are they pretty much on point as well?
What, the men in the country?
Yeah.
Well, the young men in the country have got on the wave. The older ones, I think, are just set where they are, which is fine. We're looking at the youth, actually. Yeah, it goes for both. It goes for both, the boys and the girls.
Right.
They're both clued on.
Yeah. So as a designer, where does this inspiration come from? From the street, from the world, from your travel?
It comes from everywhere. It comes from you. It comes from me within. It comes from the trees. It comes from the ocean. It comes from world cultures. It comes from pandemics. Oh my God. Whoever thought that a pandemic could be inspirational? But yes, it is.
Yeah.
It inspires people to think.
Right.
It inspires people to think towards sustainability. It inspires people to think towards affordability. It inspires people to think towards functionality, comfort. So there you go. The pandemic itself is an inspiration.
Right. Right.
So everything around you, basically.
Right. Is there?
I think one of the biggest tragedies of the pandemic, tragic for fashion is what you mentioned earlier, Monisha. Is that I see a lot of Charlie Sheens, from 2.5 Men around. People wearing
Yes.
formal and semi-formal shirts and boxers below.
Yes.
I hope you as a designer have some cure for this.
Yes. You do see a lot of that. You do.
Yeah. I have a personal question. I mean, you have created some of the most glamorous outfits for some of the most glamorous people in the world. Yet you are very minimalistic in in your outfits. So what is the philosophy behind this?
Well, I'm minimalistic because I'm working in the factory all the time. And I consider myself the labor class. And so we're seamstresses and we make. So we just wear our work clothes on. And it's people like you and the stars that we dress. And so that's why the simplicity, so that it's just comfort and in the work environment.
Yeah.
I
think
I'm a
that
pretty
defines
hands-on
it.
person. I'm a pretty hands-on person. I mean, like I like doing my own sketches, and when I'm on the workshop floor, I like checking measurements. I like draping myself sometimes. It just keeps the adrenaline going and my creative juices going. So, I mean, I'm a pretty hands-on factory person as well.
Great.
I'm a seamstress first, then a designer.
I love that.
Yeah,
any last question?
Yeah, that's about it. And I wanted Monisha to give us a cure for
The virus.
Yeah, that's it.
But Monisha, once everything is opened up, all the stores are back, the parties are back, hopefully, who knows, is there one thing that you'd like to see changed in fashion, in the way Indian men and women dress? Just that one thing.
All right. I think this pandemic is going to make everybody more sensible.
Mm-hmm.
The dressing is going to be more sensible, as I said. It's not going to be just buying for the sake of buying. And the one thing that I would like the Indian man and woman to, to learn from this experience is that please have your own style.
Yeah.
Do not be fed by what the designer tells you completely, because he or she is only trying to sell you the product. Have your own style, know what suits you, and to basically just have a sense of your own style,
right,
and be comfortable in that.
Exactly.
Don't try and ape someone else. If this is you and you feel something is not going to look right, don't buy it.
Right. So basically, don't be a slave to fashion.
Exactly.
Be your own star.
Exactly.
Be your own star.
Yeah. Is there one star you really like dressing, Monisha? I know it's a tough question because a lot of people will get offended if you don't name them. But is there one person or star whom you really enjoy dressing?
Well, I like dressing everybody.
Yeah.
Stars, people like you, people like me, and I just like dressing everybody. I want to dress the world.
Yeah.
So, there's no particular star.
Yeah.
For me, actually, all the Bollywood stars we have are stunning. Yeah. And, there's so many young people coming into Bollywood again with, great bodies and, a great sense of style and wanting to experiment. That is just nice. Just this new wave in Bollywood. It's nice that everyone wants to experiment, wants to look their best. Right. That itself is inspirational. So it really doesn't matter who the star is.
Right. Great. It's been such a pleasure talking to you, Monisha. All the very best.
Great pleasure.
Thank you so
the pleasure is entirely mine.
And thank you, Edison. Thank you very much. All the best. post-pandemic.
Thank you. Same to you. Bye.
Thank
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye. Thank you.